We then proceeded at that point into our simulated countdown.
Lunchtime, kids! Hello, friends. It's lunchtime.
Welcome, everybody, to our brand new studio here at RNCN, and welcome to the lunch break for the first full week of January. Happy to be here, January 7th, 2019. We're going to kick this year off right. I'm Matt, your host for today. Anna is here, although you cannot see her. She is behind this camera here, or she's behind that camera. I can't keep up anymore. So she is here, and you may hear her say something far off in the background, but she does not have a mic right now. That's all right. And then with us for the first time in a long time,
I know,
Sarah Strackhouse.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. I feel like I've missed you guys.
I don't remember the last time we had you on. It had to have been months.
Yeah,
ago.
I would say October and November.
That probably sounds right.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
How have you been? How was your holidays?
I have been good. It was really good.
How were your holidays?
They were all good. I went back up to New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania and saw family. So it was really nice.
What was the weather like up in that part
weirdly
of the country?
enough, it was actually kind of warm. I remember looking at my phone one day, and it was like 55 or something like that in New York, and it was 30 here. So I don't know. It was nice. We got a little bit of snow when we were driving over to Pennsylvania, but otherwise not much.
Here in Dallas, for all you international viewers.
How was your holiday?
It was great. Yeah, it was really good. Very low key.
Good.
But
nice.
It was very nice. Happy to be back here at work
sure.
On the lunch break. So before we really get started, we are in one of the new studios here at RNCN, dubbed Studio C because we're really good at naming studios. We have A, B, C made sense.
There's a G also, right?
There is a G, yeah, for green screen.
Yeah.
I really have no idea where to look right now. I'm going to look at this camera right now. That's confusing when you don't have one right in your face at all times. Yeah. We are in Studio C. It's as you can see, it has a little bit different feel, kind of this high table look. We enjoy it. Yeah. So, Sarah, as is tradition, you come on and give us the news of the day, the week.
Yeah.
So what's going on? I don't think we have any photos to show, but let's just talk about the news.
Go through it a little bit. Kind of keeping it short to the point here. Apparently, there's no end in sight for the government shutdown. Fox News reports the shutdown approaches week 3 as there is little progress made in meetings over the weekend. The shutdown is mainly surrounding the $5.6 billion that Trump is asking for to build the wall between the U.S. and the Mexico border. As the partial government shutdown continues, thousands of federal employees are without pay or are not working.
I actually had a couple of stories in here about this, so we might as well do them now.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of them is, let's talk about the good one at least first, because the government shutdown affects a number of things that you may not be aware of. I've already heard if you're getting tax returns, you're not going to be getting your tax returns as long as the government shutdown is going on, right?
Right.
It also closes down national parks because those are federally funded. So
yep, and federally run. I mean, they're all federal employees.
Right.
Yeah.
So those are considered, I guess, what you would call non-essential, and so they're shut down. However, for Yellowstone, there a number of private companies have gotten together and said we're going to help fund Yellowstone and keep it open. One of them being
cool.
Xanterra Parks and Resorts. I mean, it is selfishly motivated, I would say, because they have a interest in these parks and resorts. They run hotels around Yellowstone or in Yellowstone. So
Sure.
obviously, if the parks close, they're not getting a whole lot of business.
Yeah.
So there is a reason to keep it open. But
if they can, that's still good news for people.
It's a nice benefit. A shame that they have to step in and do that, but you can at least still go visit Yellowstone. The other thing that I've heard about is that there is a bit of a, I guess you might call it an unofficial or a soft strike going on with the TSA.
I heard about that at JFK especially.
Yeah, so they are not getting paid, although they are still expected to work because national security and all of that.
Yep.
But they aren't getting a paycheck. And so they have started to, at SeaTac, which is in Seattle, and at Kennedy Airport in New York, they are just calling in sick en masse.
Yeah, I heard there's 170 that called out, so then the morning workers had to stay late and work extra hours, and again, obviously not get paid or get overtime for that. I mean, I can't believe that. In my head, I was like, what would I do if I were in their shoes?
Homeland Security Press Secretary Tyler Holton says that security operations have not been impacted by those that are sick. I mean, I'm sure they have redundant staff, like you said, or they find ways to cover it. But still, it's unfortunate that folks feel the need that, and I totally understand it. You know, like I get it. You're not being paid for the work you're doing. TSA, no matter what you think of them, is a thankless job.
Oh yeah.
Nobody likes you. Even at the best.
Even at the best of times.
Yeah, at the best of times, you are a mild inconvenience. At the worst of time, people just straight up hate you.
Yep. And think that you're personally doing something mean to them.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I totally understand it, and it's too bad that things have gone that way, and hopefully this can be worked out soon, or at least start getting people paid. But
yeah, absolutely. I did hear the Coast Guard is getting paid, and they are still working. They are still in operation. So that's at least some good news too.
I guess we'll see if this TSA thing amounts to anything. I mean, if people are, we may come to realize that TSA really isn't doing a whole lot to begin with.
That they're all calling out, and things are still working
fine. Things are fine.
Yeah.
Things are actually better. Anyway, what do you have?
All right, next on the docket, the Golden Globes. So they took place last night. Bohemian Rhapsody took the stage in an upset, apparently. The movie based on Queen won Best Drama over the predicted A Star is Born. That's according to CNN. But not to worry, the song Shallow with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper did claim Best Song, so at least A Star is Born got something. The Americans took first as Best TV Drama. Best Actress went to Glenn Close for her appearance in The Wife. Everyone thought that Lady Gaga was going to get it in A Star is Born. They were nominated for like 6 things, and I think only won 1. So, and then Jeff Bridges won the Cecil B. DeMille Award.
Interesting night. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the Golden Globes, but I didn't keep up with it. But interesting to note that, and I thought I had it right here, but I can't find it. But Netflix took home a fair amount of awards from the Golden Globes, and I'm not sure where they stand. I think they probably still are not eligible for the Academy Awards because that requires some sort of theatrical run.
Oh, okay.
But the Golden Globes, they won 5 Golden Globes. Netflix series won 5 Golden Globes with the Kaminsky Method and Roma, and. I was talking about this with a friend of mine over the weekend, and I had just watched Bird Box, which I don't know if you've seen.
I saw that.
I knocked over your live video.
It's okay.
I apologize. And I mean,
I watched that.
I thought it was okay. Like my opinions on it are notwithstanding, but it did strike me that this is a movie that. For all intents and purposes, could have been a theatrical release.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's no. This is the exact kind of middle of the road thriller that you might expect to find at any point in time in theaters. Obviously starring Sandra Bullock and with a fair other amount of star power behind it. So. Netflix is really doing some interesting things right now.
I think so, and I think the fact that it doesn't go to theaters is all the more interesting. And it's still, I mean, there was some statistic that I recently saw that said that Bird Box had claimed in the first week that it was open, it had claimed a certain amount of viewership that would be comparable to like Star Wars in its first weekend opening or something like that. And I can't remember the exact stats, so don't quote me on any of that. But it was really interesting seeing that, and the fact that also their this last year, I feel like I've seen more and more stars actually appear in Netflix originals, whereas before they were kind of no names.
Right.
And now it's Sandra Bullock. I mean, Jennifer Aniston was just in that Dumpling movie. So many of those. So it's really interesting that they're getting so many more people to be in their originals.
Yeah, I think they are. I mean, it's been said about Netflix for years that they are shaking up the industry, but I think this year in particular, it has seemed, or this past year, I guess you would say 2018 in particular, has seemed that they have really come out as a pretty powerful force in the entertainment business.
I feel like spending billions of dollars to do that will do that to you.
Yeah, that might help.
That could help.
That might help. What's next?
All right, next on the list, taking a look at some tech news. Elon Musk broke ground this morning for Tesla's Shanghai factory. CNBC reports that he bought the factory in October for about $140 million, and he'll be creating vehicles in China to reduce tariff and ocean transport costs. Partial production is expected to begin the second half of this year. Well, that was kind of interesting.
Very interesting.
In tech news, yeah. We have a funny kicker today. Okay. Yeah. So beware of the crickets. They may have been behind the, quote, sonic attacks on the U.S. Embassy staff in Cuba.
Really?
Yes. So apparently in 2017, there was this big suspected attack that actually injured about 22 workers. They said they had hearing loss and some sort of brain damage because of these. It turns out it was crickets, but they originally thought that, I know, I wish you could see Anna's face behind the camera. So it actually ended up being these crickets, and UK and US researchers say that there is a, quote, strong evidence that an echoing cricket call rather than a sonic attack or other technological device was the cause of the noises and the damage.
I believe it. I don't know if you've spent a few years here in North Texas, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed, but around, say, it was always when school was back in session, so August, September, there is a huge influx of crickets. Mm-hmm. And it would be to the point where when I was in high school, the entire parking lot was covered in crickets.
Oh my God.
And they would just be constantly being run over, and then they would smell, and it was awful. It was the worst.
Crickets smell?
Yeah, when they die, they smell. I guess they rot. I don't know. I don't know really what happens. But they do smell, and so it was a miserable existence. And crickets are constantly jumping all over the place and making a ton of noise. So I believe in the sonic attack power of crickets.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember there was one morning I was teaching a workout class, and we kept having to move all of our mats because the crickets kept trying to hop on it. And I had this one. It's like just a little like Beats pill, but that's what I played music out of, and they kept trying to jump and go underneath it. So I kept having to move it, and we kept having to move all of our mats. It was like a big game of chess with these crickets.
They're a menace.
They're creepy, and I actually have a photo of it. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, there you go. That's the ones
That's the perpetrator.
They believe Yes, these are the guys with the sonic
Arrest that
attack.
man immediately.
Yeah. Get him!
Well, Sarah, I appreciate you coming back in to the show. It's been too long. I guess we'll have to do more shows up here in order to get you in studio.
I know. I was like, oh, I'm going to sneak in. I got time.
Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break. I think Zach may be waiting in the wings. I'm not entirely sure. He could be. So we're going to take a quick break here on the lunch break, and we will be back shortly. Stick around.
Cool.
Welcome back to the lunch break on RNCN. So nice to have you here in the sauna that is Studio C. I've replaced Sarah Strackhouse with Zach Lewis. How's it going?
Hi.
What do you think of the place?
It's nice. I like it.
It's a little warm. It's a little tropical. It might be.
You guys have been in here for a while.
Yeah. Get ready.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. For
yourself.
now, I feel fine. I've got some cold ice water in here.
Stay
but
hydrated.
Shortly, it might get warm.
Speaking of, there is a brand new internet star on the horizon. It is the Fiji Water Girl.
Yeah.
Now, we just spoke about the Golden Globes a little bit in the prior segment.
Oh.
But we did not mention this lovely woman right here. And to catch you up, if you didn't watch the Golden Globes, there apparently Fiji Water is always, or at least has a standing agreement with, I don't know if it's the venue or the Golden Globes or other award shows, but they're always there handing out water to people that want it. So this is apparently not new. Now, what is relatively new is that one of them, a model by the name of Kelleth Cuthbert, was regularly finding herself. Is my camera moving around?
There we go.
Okay.
Sorry. That wasn't bothering me. It's fine. It's fine.
Was regularly finding herself in front of, or not in front of, but behind the stars that were getting their photos taken on the red carpet.
Oh, so we have a name for Fiji Water Girl.
Yeah, Kelleth Cuthbert, which is a very difficult name. Yeah, in an impressive way. Like, she was turning up in. I found more photos than I needed of this woman, constantly turning up and mugging for the camera, no less.
Yeah.
So there's her behind. I forget this guy's name, but he was in Game of Thrones.
And the bodyguard, Rob Stark.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
him.
I can't remember. I'm sorry, I can't. Oh, Richard Madden.
Yeah,
that was his name. There she is again. Again, I love the fact that she's just staring at the camera and smiling, like she knows what's up, like she knows what's going on here.
Yeah.
Here she is again. Not quite as big of a smile, but somewhat a little bit demure, you might say. I think, is that the last one? That's probably the last one that we have. I think a lot of people look at this as a clever trick by this entrepreneurial model who's handing out Fiji water. I can't see this as anything other than a planned out publicity stunt, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's coincidence that the red carpet is traditionally red and she's wearing solid blue. Like, it's pretty obvious. Like, we want you to stand out. We want we want you to look like you stand out from the crowd. So I don't know which camera to look at and be different.
There were others. I mean, they had a photo of 4 of them there, so they were all in blue as well.
Right.
This one, I mean, obviously meant to stand out, though. Yeah, as you're right, from the background.
Yeah, and I wish this was like one of those coincidental like things, but there's just no way. It's too coincidental that she happens to be holding a few bottles of Fiji water every time. Like, if she didn't have a serving tray and she was kind of just standing there awkwardly, like she didn't know what to do, then you got something.
Yeah.
Then you got something great, but it just seems a little too planned. Do you think Fiji bought that space?
I think so.
You think they intentionally like paid to advertise that?
I just, the fact that, well, let's see. The fact that this hasn't happened in the past necessarily makes me believe that this space is relatively tightly controlled.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have a whole lot of people photobombing the red carpet necessarily.
Uh-huh.
So I think that, yeah, Fiji cut some sort of deal with whomever. I would assume it is I don't remember where this happened or where the Golden Globes were held, but I assume it's with the venue, or perhaps whomever governs that's the internet. What is the name of the governing body for the Golden Globes? The foreign film
correspondence,
something like
broadcasters association of movie making.
I assume they probably had to clear it with somebody to say, hey, we have these people that are always handing out this water. Do you mind if we just, like, if we throw you a few extra bucks? I imagine it's more than a few, that we stand in the background of these shots and like make a thing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that went any other way.
It's Fiji Water was retweeting. They were posting about this. Like, they knew it was up. They had to have known it was up.
Yeah, absolutely. This is not you stumbled upon it Because if she wasn't supposed to be there, they'd say, hey, get the hell out of the shot. What are you doing? Like, quit standing there looking at the camera every time we're trying to take a picture of somebody.
That's a good point. Yeah, like any photographer would have told her, like, ma'am, please move. Like, I'm sure they do that with people there.
Yeah.
Of course they do.
Yeah,
like, it's the red carpet, for God's sake. Like, it's just a little coincidental. It's a bummer for... like the stars, the people that actually work to be there, and it's like, hey, we're going to use this photo op in this really expensive dress or tux or whatever you put together to advertise Fiji water behind you. Sorry, not sorry. Like, that's a bummer. I wish I could find this woman on Twitter and see how many, like Social Blade, like look her up and see how many followers she's gotten since this happened. Because Fiji water's Fiji water. They're a national brand. It's fine. I don't care. Like the woman in particular, though, I'd love to see how well she's been doing overnight, you know, and how that's gone for her. So far, I've found at Fiji Water Girl 2, 3, and 5, all different accounts, spoof accounts, and Fiji Water Warning. See if you put an R next to an N on Twitter, it looks like an M kinda, which makes it Fiji Water Woman, right? Okay. Spoof accounts, but nothing on the woman. But it's a shame. I would like to find out what happened to her, I guess. I'm sure, and this is one of those things that's going to turn up in the 2019 in retrospective things that you see. You're like, oh yeah, Fiji Water Woman. Oh like, yeah, what was up with her? Get your Halloween costumes now, because come October,
that's not bad.
Fiji Water Girl.
That's not bad.
Yep, that'll be a good one.
Yeah, people will have forgotten about it by then. That's not a bad.
Not idea. Me. Not here on the lunch break. Not in this studio.
Speaking of odd photos, there is a new social media trend going around on, I guess, Instagram probably. Hashtag January.
What?
And this is women who are posting photos of their leg hair, basically. I'm not going to sit here and be I am not going to be a chauvinist or whatever. I'm not going to say women, you have to shave your legs.
Yeah.
But it is a fascinating trend that this has now become a hashtag January.
I'm going to be honest. I'm concerned a little less knowing this is about women and not dudes, frankly. Because if it's dudes, I'm like, oh god,
I'll post some hairy leg pictures.
If it's women, I'm like,
hairy leg pictures. I'll post some hairy leg pictures.
Sure, yeah, like I'll run with that for a month. Why not? Who cares? It's fine. If we get no shave November or mustache whatever, like who's to say we can't have hair January? Although that being said, what is going on with all of the hair related month themes? Like, really? How did this happen? We've got like 4 now.
It's all hair. Yeah, it's all hair related.
Okay, so where did January come from?
So it was a student named Laura Jackson. She says she grew it out for a college project. I'm not really sure what college project entails.
Liberal arts student.
Liberal arts exactly. Student. Yeah, college project meaning I just don't feel like shaving my legs, probably.
Maybe.
And she says she wants to encourage women to accept and empower themselves with their body hair, as well as challenge the idea that female body hair is abnormal or something to be ashamed of. I'm on board with that. They've changed it into a fundraiser.
Sorry, Anna's mugging me like I know something. Like what? I'm co-hosting the show. All right, give me a break.
They've changed it into they've funneled it into a fundraiser that's for a nonprofit called Body Gossip, promoting education around body acceptance. So nice. Look, there's nice things tied up in this. I'm not saying there's not. I just I love that every month needs to be turned into some sort of hair-related pun now.
Right. That is the nice thing. That's the thing I wouldn't say is nice about this. Like, why couldn't we just tie this into, like, No Shave November? That couldn't just be, like, an extension of that?
Yeah, that doesn't have to be a masculine thing.
No. I always assumed that applied to everybody. I knew women back in the day, and probably still now, that were like, No Shave November, so I'm not going to shave my legs all month. I was like, great. Go. You do you. That's awesome, I guess. Like, I'm indifferent either way. Man, I really don't know which camera to look at. That's really... It's not distracting.
It's incredibly distracting.
Yeah, it's not bothering me.
We need lights on these things.
Maybe we do.
Yeah.
I worry what... where we're at with holidays, right? Every day's got to be a holiday. Every day is like Talk Like a Pirate Day or National Bagel and Cream Cheese Day or some kind of something.
Today is?
Please.
Holidays. Today is Orthodox Christmas Day. So there you go.
Sure.
Today's Harlem Globetrotters Day.
Okay, well, if anybody deserves a day,
I should have pulled the Harlem Globetrotters Day. Maybe I will.
Yeah, where are we going to end up
National
with...
Tempura Day.
Where are we going to end up with months? And
it's also National Bobblehead Day and Old Rock Day.
If we're limiting this to body-related things, how long before we're in, like, Mohawk Month or something? What month was that? May Mohawks? Is that... where we're gonna end up?
Sure, yeah.
Are we gonna? Are beards gonna get a month now?
February faux hogs?
Are we gonna tumble into like piercings? If this is strictly cosmetic or accessories, I mean, how far?
Also,
when does that end?
Would it be rude for men to engage themselves in January? Like
Tattoo.
if I didn't want to shave anymore, would that be?
I guess so.
Would that be? Would that
Right,
be
like that's what I
encroaching
mean.
on?
Do we have to engender our hair-related months? We don't. We don't. Like that's a slippery slope. We live in a crazy time. People are more divided now than ever.
Let's all come together.
Let's not split the difference on the hair-related month themings. Like it's fine. It's fine.
When we come back, we will have the. I'm just going to hard cut out of that. It's
a good time to go.
There we go.
It's fine.
When we come back, we will have a very interesting plastic surgery trend that is somewhat related to January, and also why you're failing at your New Year's resolutions. I'm going to play this bit of music.
Please
right
do.
here. And we will be back shortly here on the lunch break from Studio C, beautiful Studio C, live from beautiful sunny Studio C on RNCN. Goodbye. We are back on the lunch break on RNCN. Happy to have you along with us. I'm Matt, your host. I got Zach Lewis here next to me. Got Anna in the back. Anna, off mic, Anna. If she speaks up really loudly, you'll be able to hear her. Zach, how do you feel about your feet?
Pretty good, I think.
Do you have any problems with your feet? You look at your feet and be like, man, what a pile of mush I've got down here.
No concerns I'd like to voice on this show. Thank you for the opportunity, though.
So there is a thing now called a. I'm fine with my feet, by the way.
Okay.
I'll just get that out.
No, it's good.
I don't hate my feet.
Yeah, make your claim.
There's a new plastic surgery called a foot lift. I don't know if it's new, but it's growing in popularity.
All right. This is a good way to start any headline. There's a new plastic surgery.
Yeah.
It's like a Letterman sketch.
So it's also been dubbed, quote, Cinderella surgery.
What? Okay.
You know, with the glass slipper and all that stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And obviously, if you're going to be wearing glass slippers, you're going to want your feet to look good because they're not being hidden by anything.
Naturally.
So basically, it's being described as a facelift for your feet, include everything from common procedures like bunion removal. Shout out to that.
Okay.
And to foot slimming and toe shortening, all with the goal of getting smoother, younger looking feet. The only thing I can think about when I hear about this is that the recovery must be miserable from foot surgery, right? Like, that's got to be terrible.
Yeah, I mean, like with any plastic surgery, it's got to be bad. But you're right. Like foot surgery in particular is, yeah, it's not a good one to dance with, I guess. No pun intended.
You know, obviously, some people could have actual medical issues if their feet are shaped strangely or something like that that's causing them problems to walk around or whatever. Sure, there are legitimate medical reasons why you would get foot surgery.
Like, yeah, that some of it I'm sure is strictly cosmetic for certain people out there.
Right, and it looks like that a lot of folks are just going in there to just wanting to slim their feet down, I suppose, for when summer comes and they want to wear sandals all the time.
I guess not a priority. I think the world has come a long way in tolerating how other people's feet look. I don't know if either of you have been to a water park in the last like 10 years, but people let stuff fly. They don't care. Like it just happens.
People let a lot of things fly beyond just their feet at a
It's
water
true.
park.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like at some point,
It is the worst of humanity.
who are you fooling, really? You know what I mean? When it comes to feet, there's only so much you can do. I think you kind of got to work with what God gave you. If you've got the money and the means and the know-how and the elbow grease to get yourself some foot plastic surgery, by all means. But ultimately, like, if you're going to get plastic surgery, prioritize. There's got to be something else you can work on
Than just your feet.
If you're in a place in your life where you're like, the feet thing has to happen and it's got to happen now. Like, I promise there's something going on here or is somewhere.
There's something else that you need to get
that is
taken care
more
of.
important than it is.
Let me go back to water parks for a moment.
Yeah.
I may have
Hold
talked about
on.
this on the.
Let's not bury the lead here.
I may have talked about this on the show, but it's been a while. We went to a water park this past summer.
You want to give him a shout out?
Hawaiian Falls.
Okay.
Shout out Hawaiian Falls.
Sure.
Which is fine. Hawaiian Falls is fine.
It's fine.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's less expensive than
3 stars on Google. It's fine.
less expensive than Six Flags. What is it called now? Hurricane Harbor. Wet and Wild is what I remember it as.
I've never been.
It's less expensive than that, but it's
Yeah.
also there's less stuff there. So take what you get.
Sure.
Anyway, we're just looking for a lazy river. Was really all we were looking for. And look, there are plenty of moments in my day where I might be considered a mess of a human being. But when I go out in public, I can compose myself as a functioning adult.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I
Sure.
know social norms.
Right.
This is not the case at the water park, and I know that because not just from what I saw, but from a sign that was posted at the lazy river that said, "Parents, please do not change your children's diapers in the water features." And I just think, it's one of those old sayings that if there's a sign, if there's a rule, there's a reason for it,
Sure.
right? Like if there's a sign for that, there's
Yep.
a reason that there's a sign for that.
Yep.
I'm like, what adult thinks it's okay to change your kids' diapers in the lazy river? Give me a break. Look, accidents happen. I get it. But step out.
Yeah. This is one of those things. I went and saw a wonderful, just a quick sidebar here. I went and saw a wonderful documentary last year. Won't You Be My Neighbor? The Mr. Rogers documentary.
Yes, absolutely.
And a big part of the theme in that movie is like, when along the way did we lose our inner child? When did we become adults and forget who we wanted to be when we were kids? When we were 6 years old and everything was big and bright and beautiful. A big step in that is somewhere along the way at a water park. Because you're right, the worst of humanity is at the water park. And I want to believe that the policies and the rules in which I live my water park life by apply to everybody at the water park. That everybody knows
You would hope.
you should not be changing your kid in the water features or clipping your nails or shaving or God knows injecting any other kind of DNA into what everybody is swimming in.
Keep it as minimal as possible.
Right. The older you get, the more you realize like that simply isn't true. That not all that glitters is gold. That unicorns don't exist. And that people do horrible things at the water park without any kind of regard for other individuals. Welcome to being an adult.
We are no better than animals at certain points. So we are in the first full week of January.
Yep.
Any New Year's resolutions that you have already broken?
I wanted to kick off like a fancy new diet. It took me 2 days to get into it, but so far so good.
Okay.
So other than
That's fine.
completely disregarding the starting line and starting when I felt like it, okay so far. So that's not bad. And check this out. I set up this sweet new idea for saving money. Have you heard about this?
Saving money?
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Right. I
not
found
employed
out
yet.
you can log in to your banking account and you can set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account. 26 years old. Just figured this out.
There you go.
Yeah. And I set up a weekly deposit from one account to the other to start saving myself a couple of dollars. Because if I try to do it like actually try, give an effort, I will fail horribly. But if I set it up in the background, just like every other bill pay in my life, it'll just happen, and I'll be none the wiser.
Yeah.
So ignorance truly is bliss, internet. Thank you.
We were doing that for a while, but then I mean, we do have a savings, but like the idea of it being there, it just all becomes one account again, like in your head. I think it's like, well, I have this much in checking and I have this much in savings. So if you need it, you need it. But if you're diligent about not dipping into it, then I think that can be a very useful thing.
My savings account is one of those things that I built up like a few years ago and then just have not touched since. It's just sat there. So it's one of those things like, I need to start doing something with this. I'm not going to take anything out of it. Maybe I should put something in. So I think you're right. Inevitably, this will all fall apart like every great plan in my life. But until then, I'm looking forward to saving a couple of dollars.
Well, we'll see if it falls apart by February, because apparently 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by the time February gets here. They don't make it a month. And
I believe that. Sure.
There are some reasons for that. One of them, actually, a couple of these are similar, which is setting too big of a goal for yourself for New Year's resolutions. I think that's probably the biggest one that people do. They say, it's either setting too big of a goal or setting a vague goal. These are two separate entries on this list. But you say either I want to lose weight, right? Well, what does that mean? So it doesn't really, you don't have any goal that you're shooting for. Or I want to lose 200 pounds. Well, that might be something that's unattainable and too big, and you realize by the end of January I've lost 5 pounds. I'm probably not going to make my 200. So whatever, I might as well give up on it.
Yeah.
Forgetting to track progress. That's one of the big reasons why goals or resolutions fail. So if you're even seeing improvement, even if it's a tiny bit, that will help you stay on your path. Taking an all or nothing approach. This says that change is gradual and comes in baby steps. So it's good to remember that. And also doing it alone. Does Christine make any New Year's resolutions? Do you try to like say, all right, these are ours, even if they're not the same?
Yeah.
Do you act as accountability for each other on that?
She doesn't do anything particularly public. I voiced a lot of mine on the last lunch break.
Sure.
I've had a weird approach. Over the past couple of years, I've done nothing. Then last year I did one. And this year I thought, okay, rather than doing one big one, what if I did like 86 small ones? Inevitably, one will come relatively true. So I will. There's some success there. Edison invented 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb or whatever. Like, why can't I have one good New Year's resolution and 99 bad ones? That makes sense to me. She's not particularly public in her New Year's resolution. She did make a couple, but most of them are like ideological. It's not like I'm going to lose this much weight. It's I'd like to start eating healthier, like things like that.
Yeah.
Just like and I think that's a good broad strokes approach. What bums me out about a story like this is it doesn't come as a surprise. I think to any of us. I don't think anybody's like, oh man, yeah.
I can't believe it. I can't believe the numbers. I'm surprised it's not 100% of resolutions.
I know we all break our New Year's resolutions, and it's a bummer. And that's just more about the human condition than it does about our ideal version of it, I guess. Man, I'm very, very cynical this episode. I don't know what happened to me. My God, something's in this coffee. Maybe it's the heat.
Maybe. Yeah, we're a little steamy in here. I'm going to take one more quick break, and when we come back, we will talk about. We love crazy wedding stories, right? Yeah,
sure.
We love to hear about crazy wedding stories. We've got a great one here about a bride who is upset about her wedding cake. That's coming up here shortly on the lunch break. Stick around for a couple more minutes. And we're back on the lunch break. Couple more minutes before we take this thing home, and I want to ask of the people in the room. Anna, I'm going to have you weigh in on this. I will.
Hold on. Anna's having some technical difficulties over
Anna
there.
is having some technical difficulties.
Anna, Matt, I don't think we're right back. we may not be back.
Folks, listen to us. If you can't see us, you can at least listen to our voices.
Now's a great time to
so I'm going to tell you
remind
what's
people
going on
that
here in the studio.
we do a podcast.
Let's just pull the whole thing back. Actually, Anna, if you'd like, you can hit cut right there. Do you see over to the right of those buttons? Cut. There you go.
Hey, there's me.
So yeah, there I am. So we have a handy laptop in here that's supposed to run our switching software, which goes to sleep literally every minute, I think. If you take your hands off that thing for more than a minute, that thing is going to sleep.
Yeah.
We've tried every setting in the book. It will not stop doing it. So I'm not really sure what's going on.
I'm gonna be honest. We put some mileage on devices around here. I'm thinking we might have fried something in it. Like, to be completely fair, I'm not gonna argue that like HP, who made this laptop, like sold us a bad one. I think we kept it on and running for a very long time.
That's true. This thing was
in a fairly hot room.
The screen behind us had at one point been running every single hour that we were open.
Yeah.
That laptop has done its fair share. It may be time to set it out to pasture. Say goodbye to Old Yeller.
Yeah, find a good home for it in the local prison system. I don't.
All right, so we are going to. I want to ask you a question. If you were to go to a wedding, we've all been to weddings,
Sure.
right?
A lot of fun.
You go to the reception area. This is prior to. Usually, there's a little time before the bride and groom show up and the reception really gets started. You have a little time, and you see a tiered display of cheese, grapes, crackers, things of that nature, right? Little meat, maybe. No, I'm sorry. Cheese, grapes, and crackers is what was on it.
Some fruit. Yeah.
What are your assumptions on that display of finger foods?
Well, you're there early.
Sure.
Okay. I would assume that that's probably for everybody, and that, you know, being me, I would assume I probably shouldn't have any. I'd maybe go sneak a piece, but otherwise, I'd be pretty chill and wait for the rest of the party to get there. But I would assume that's for the room, right? That's
appetizers,
for,
right?
Yes, finger
Tizers,
foods,
as you might say.
Yeah, sure. Tapas, as I learned over the weekend.
Tapas. I don't.
Right? Finger foods?
Tapas. I think is
Tapas?
what it
Is
is.
it tapas?
Yes.
Ah.
Tapas is the most southern way of saying that I've ever heard. Anna, speak up. If you see a tiered display of cheeses and crackers, are you to assume that is for the helping?
I'm gonna be honest. I would think that probably it is for the taking, but me being me, probably would think, I'm shy. I'm not gonna take it.
Would you then assume that was in fact the wedding cake?
No.
So
I would never make that assumption.
a bride in I'm trying to find the town. It doesn't give me the town. But there was a bride who apparently broke down in tears after learning that her wedding guests had helped themselves to her wedding cake, which was a 3-tiered display of cheese and crackers. She could not understand why prior to the wedding, or prior to the reception, rather, or prior to the official cake cutting, that her guests were helping themselves to cheese and crackers from the wedding cake. They said it was the bride and groom decided against a traditional wedding cake and instead went with arranged hunks of cheeses and grapes, crackers, and biscuits. When the bride found out what happened, she lost it. Some said it was an honest mistake. Others said that the cake was in a separate room out of reach of the guests. I guess it depends on how it was laid out, really. But if it was in some sort of side room, I still would assume, seeing that display, that those are appetizers.
Yeah, I think I get, like, a wedding is your special day, and you want to present yourself and your beau to whoever, however you like. And I get that. And if you want it to be a surprise, like, ooh, the wedding cake is different and unique, that's fantastic. But, like, you have, I would argue, a social obligation to tell the people close enough to you that you would invite them to your wedding, to share this special day, your loved ones, as it were. You are obligated to tell them in some way it is not a traditional cake. it's not cake at all. Like something. Like
Yeah.
there's a miscommunication there that yes, those people should not have jumped on and helped themselves to the charcuterie board or whatever you call it. That is this 3-tier wedding cake. I get that. Can you help me out?
Charcuterie?
Charcuterie, yeah, I believe this is it.
Charcuterie. Yeah.
Yes.
I get like people would help themselves. I said I would go steal a piece. But like if there's a potential for a mix-up, that's why they have wedding planners. Like somebody should have been on that. Somebody should have been like,
Somebody should have
listen,
been
don't
guarding
touch
that thing.
this. Yeah, that's its
You
own.
know?
That's its own beast. I don't know. Bummer though. That's definitely a bummer.
Side note,
Yeah.
how are you gonna do the cutting of the cake ceremony?
How are you going to do the cutting, Anna? So I don't know if they got picked up. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you just pluck a piece out.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure how you're supposed to do that.
Obligatory.
Like,
cut the cheese joke.
Sorry, bride and groom. That was a stupid decision. I'm just going to say that right now. That was a dumb decision.
Yeah.
To have a cheese and cracker platter as your cake. I understand if you don't want traditional cake. There's probably a million ways to go about that. Having what's traditionally considered appetizers as your cake, probably not the best idea.
I've heard some wild ideas for cake. Have you seen the cupcake cakes? Those are
No,
great.
we did that. We did that at our
Right,
wedding,
and
it was great.
It's easy. Everybody can have some. You can get custom icing if you want. You get different flavors. Everybody understands it's cake, it's a dessert, it's a confection. It's on a 3-tiered thing. I probably shouldn't touch it. Dessert traditionally comes at the end. I think that's why a wedding cake is a cake, because it's dessert and like it comes after the ceremony. It makes sense. You chose an appetizer over dessert. Fundamental flaw in the plan there.
And I'm just gonna say this: I don't want to have to put too strong a rule about this, but you know, the wedding cake isn't just for you.
Ooh.
If you're the bride and groom, do your guests a favor. Get them some freaking cake. Like, come on. People are there. They're going there. They're bringing you gifts. They're supporting you on your big day. Part of the bargain is that you provide them with something that's delicious to eat.
Right.
Sorry if you don't believe in that, but get them some cake. Come on.
See,
Side note, international mention here. In France, you eat cheese after your main meal, before dessert.
Ah, okay.
What?
So cheese after the meal.
Yep.
they do that.
That's a standard thing in France.
They do that in France.
Yep.
Hold on. What kind of cheese are we talking about here?
Brie, goat cheese, and Homlechon or something like this. Don't make me say the names. I'll butcher
It's getting far too foreign for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, they do that, so I'm not that surprised now.
Never let it be said
I
this
guess
show
not.
doesn't teach you anything.
Yeah, I don't know what nationality this couple was. They may have been from a cheese.
We don't know their setting. I mean, who knows, man?
Yeah.
Like when people do weddings on shoestring budgets, like maybe they couldn't afford a cake. Like who
that's
knows?
fine.
Maybe something went wrong with the cake the day before, and they had to come up with something last minute. Like I don't know. I think they did it all wrong, though. I don't think you can put that entirely on the guest. Come on.
No,
Yeah.
no, that was your fault.
Right.
Sorry
you are
about
a host at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like you know.
Get with it.
But
Bummer.
how did she have a meltdown if your guests are meant to eat the cake anyway? Or the dessert?
I guess maybe they ate a lot of it, or something, or maybe she just had a special plan in mind for that particular piece of cheese.
Right.
Zilla!
I think maybe.
Is she a bridezilla?
I think maybe.
I mean, you're gonna if anybody has wedding cake before the bride and groom cut it, it's a problem. I get it. It's cheese and crackers, but like at any other wedding with any kind of normal confectionery dessert of a cake, she would not be a bridezilla. That would be completely reasonable.
Sure.
She's not a bridezilla. She's just ignorant, is all. Like I think.
So she's an ignorant bridezilla.
Yeah,
That's what we'll
I
say.
guess. No,
That's what we'll say.
All right, that's fair.
That's the final word here on the lunch break.
Yes.
I appreciate you sticking around and having fun with us here in our new digs at Studio C. Thank you. We may see us more in the future from this. I'm going to roll a little music here. How about that? And we will be back on Friday, likely from our old home in Studio A. We will have a guest on Friday, so look forward to that.
Do we really?
We do.
Oh.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'm Matt. I've been your host, Zach Lewis here. Thank you to Sarah Strackhouse, who is not here anymore, but is in spirit. She's out that door somewhere. And thank you to Anna, who is behind the scenes here, yelling behind the scenes, causing a
Anna.
ruckus. Thank you again for hanging out with us. We will be back on Friday. In the meantime, have a wonderful week. See ya.